Welcome to this special bonus episode of Jeff Does Vegas. I am beyond thrilled to be here to share something that I've been working on for the last few months, and I know you folks are going to absolutely love this. Let me start by taking you back to the spring of 2020, right when the world was locking down due to the COVID-19 pandemic. At the time, I was unable to go to Las Vegas due to the various border closures and travel restrictions that were in place, and it looked like those restrictions weren't going away anytime soon. As I'm sure you can imagine, this was putting a real damper on my ability to do a Las Vegas-related podcast. I was trying to figure out a way to keep releasing content, and I had this idea of doing a Vegas history podcast. Now, by this time, I'd already done a ton of episodes about various parts of Las Vegas history, but I thought it might be cool to take deep dives into specific stories. At the time, I was binge listening to a podcast called Disgraceland with Jake Brennan, which is an incredibly cool music history podcast with a very distinct sound. It's done in sort of a documentary style, but not like a boring documentary. It had music, sound effects, vocal effects, and it told the story in a really unique way that kept me engaged and wanting more. That was the Vegas history podcast I wanted to do. So I began working on the research for a project I called Sin City Stories. The first 3 episodes went live at sincitystoriespod.com on August 31st, 2020. From there, over the course of the next year, 4 more episodes were released for a total of 7 episodes in the series. Now, by the time the 7th episode had come out, people had started traveling to Las Vegas again, and with the world basically being back open, I was releasing regular episodes of Jeff Does Vegas, and I shelved Sin City Stories. But there was still interest in the series. There were still a decent amount of downloads, and occasionally I'd get emails from listeners asking if I was planning on releasing any new episodes. Flash forward to August 2023 and a conversation I had with Megan and Anthony Smith from mayheminthedesert.com. For those who are unfamiliar, Mayhem in the Desert is a true crime website that focuses specifically on Las Vegas and the crimes that shaped the history of the city. Not only do they go deep into the stories you already know, but they take you beyond the headlines of the never-before-heard stories you might not be so familiar with. I'd had Megan and Anthony on this podcast a few times previously, and every time we talked, we'd say, we need to collaborate on something. Well, we finally decided it was time to pull the trigger and get working together. The idea we came up with was to take their stories, which are incredibly well researched and written, and adapt them into a podcast. The result is Sin City Stories, Vegas True Crime. I couldn't be more excited about this. Working with Megan and Anthony has been absolutely incredible, and I can't wait to officially launch this series. And to whet your appetite, I'm very proud to present a sneak peek of the first episode of Sin City Stories, Vegas True Crime. This is Taken, the murder of Kim Bryant. The 1979 daylight abduction of a teenager from a parking lot nearby her Las Vegas high school absolutely stunned the local community. It was only a few weeks before the body of Kim Bryant was discovered in the desert surrounding the city. But it would be 4 decades before police would finally be able to figure out who was responsible for her tragic death. Since its founding on May 15, 1905, Las Vegas has gone from being a small railway stop in the middle of the Mojave Desert to a glittering neon oasis of gambling, shopping, fine dining, and entertainment, welcoming tens of millions of visitors from around the world every year. Through its relatively short history, the city has been witness to over a century's worth of murder, robberies, arson, and mayhem. And that's what we're here to share with you. In collaboration with mayheminthedesert.com, this is Sin City Stories, Vegas True Crime. The sordid tales behind the stranger-than-fiction history of fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. It's January 26, 1979. A few miles from the Las Vegas Strip, at the campus of Western High School. The school is alive with activity as students register for classes for the coming semester. Among the throngs of teenagers is 16-year-old sophomore Kim Bryant. Kim is well known at Western High for her outgoing nature and volunteer work. Kim wades through a sea of her classmates on this chilly winter's day, accompanied by a friend as they exit the school. With class registration over and done with, the two girls are free from responsibilities for the rest of the day. The pair cross Decatur Boulevard, one of the city's busier streets, on their way to a Dairy Queen situated directly across from the school's football field. Kim and her friend chat as they wait in front of that classic 70s teen hangout spot known for its dip cones and dilly bars. The Dairy Queen won't open for another few hours, but Kim's friend is waiting at this agreed-upon meeting spot for a ride from her mother. Several other kids from the school are also hanging out in a nearby parking lot within view of Kim and her companion. Before long, a late 1950s Chevy with a sanded silver gray primer finish and sporting raised back wheels pulls into the DQ parking lot. Two young men inside the vehicle make some suggestive and uninvited comments to the high school girls. Kim is no wilting flower. She and her friend respond with some obscene words of their own and tell the men in the car where they can go. The car speeds off and merges back into the traffic flowing southbound along Decatur Boulevard. Shortly thereafter, another car pulls up into the Dairy Queen parking lot. This time, it's the mother of Kim's friend, who offers Kim a ride home. After all, her house isn't that far out of the way. She declines the ride. Kim's boyfriend is on the way to pick her up, and he should be there any minute. That decision will place her square in the sights of a predator. Kim's friend and her mother drive off, and Kim is left standing alone in front of the Dairy Queen. It's now 10:10 a.m. The abduction is over in a matter of seconds. One moment, Kim Bryant is standing in front of a business establishment along a heavily trafficked street, and the next moment, she's gone. Taken. There's no trace of Kim when her boyfriend arrives at the Dairy Queen just 20 minutes later, at approximately 10:30 a.m. Want to know what happens next? Well, you'll find out on January 1st, 2024. That's when Sin City Stories Vegas True Crime officially launches with Taken, the Murder of Kim Bryant, Part 1. And the Kim Bryant story is just one of many true crime stories we'll be covering on the podcast. Bombings, arson, kidnappings, robberies, they're all here, and I can't wait to share them with you. You can find out more at sincitystoriespod.com as well as mayheminthedesert.com. Also, go right now and follow Sin City Stories on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else you listen to podcasts so you'll know the moment new episodes are released. Mark your calendars, January 1st, 2024. It's Sin City Stories, Vegas True Crime, the sordid tales behind the stranger-than-fiction history of fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada.